Who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace.
You've turned the whole city against him.
A fact I'm very proud of. Now, get your pretty little portfolio off my desk before I go.
When looking at the types of characters in Marvel Rivals, you may have heard some people talking about diver or flanker type heroes. These are characters that typically have an insanely high skill ceiling based around their talents for phenomenal mobility and quick instant KOing burst combos to secure kills. The trade-offs for these heroes is that they are typically glass cannons. Even the slightest mistake can result in not only missing your combo, but also a quick and untimely visit to the respawn room. For tanks, we have characters like Captain America and Venom, and for the bigger category of DPSs, we have Psylocke, Star-Lord, Black Panther, Iron Fist, and of course, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is an excellently designed hero, offering some of the most accurate depictions of his abilities in the game, which is an amazing feat to pull off, but from NetEase's point of view, this creates a difficult design problem. In game balance, you generally want heroes that are easy to play to have a low limit on the reward, and heroes that are hard to play to have a high limit to their reward. For example, you want your snipers who require headshots to reward excellent accuracy, but offer not much to those who can't aim well. But what happens when your game matures and people figure out how to minimize your risks while maximizing their heroes' rewards? As the metas developed, Spider-Man went from a mid-tier to low-tier pick, generally being less favored to other flankers like Psylocke and Black Panther, to a consistent target for bans among Grandmaster and up players. So, what makes Spider-Man so good?
Yes! You're back with the amazing Spider-Man!
Maybe JJJ was right.
I want the public to see Spider-Man for the two-bit criminal he really is. He's a fake. He's full of stickum.
As time has gone on, the trade-off for risk and reward has swung in the favor of Spider-Man. Players have learned how to optimize him and have taken the weaknesses he has and have turned them into strengths. The source of Spider-Man's lethality comes primarily from his movement. Web swings, wall sprinting, and even techs like B-hops and spawn rollouts make it so that Spider-Man can not only be anywhere he wants to be, but also has one of the smallest punishments for getting caught out because of how quick he can get back to his team. So where does the Spider-Man want to be? Well, your backline, of course. We're between a mix of a 55 damage, 5 meter radius launching uppercut, a 50 damage, 20 meter stunning lasso, a bonus 45 damage from webbing a target with the tracer, and a devastating and unblockable melee combo. Every character below 300 health will instantly be KO'd against a skilled Spider-Man if they don't land a kill combo of their own. But in case you have spent the game not securing kills as a Spider-Man, don't worry. Spider-Man also has one of the fastest charging ultimates in the entire game at a cost of just 2,800. For comparison, Human Torch's Supernova takes 1,200 more points at 4,000, and arguably, I would say that his ultimate is significantly worse. But just being around enemies generates value for Spider-Man. If you try to deal with the Spider-Man, you will likely spend far too long trying to track him down. If you ignore him, it could be at the cost of the lives of your supports or your DPSs. So what can you do to counter a good Spider-Man? Not much, it turns out. Of course, you could try Namor, sort of the designed-in counter to the web-slinging menace, but what if Namor catches a premeditated ban? Your only remaining options as a DPS are Winter Soldier, Squirrel Girl, and Scarlet Witch, all of whom, besides Bucky, have spotty successes in the current metagame. As a support, maybe you could try Cloak and Dagger's Vanish, Invisible Woman's Boop, Jeff's Swim, Rocket's Boost, Loki's Lamp, Luna and Mantis's Stun, and out of Morlock you can try picking a god and praying. Miss any of these defensive abilities, however, and it's likely a trip back to spawn with you. But if a Spider-Man misses his combos, he probably has already swung back to his team. Meanwhile, you've just sunk your only defensive tools if you miss yours. So surely a character with the best mobility in the game and a touch of death combo on 80% of the cast would be horrible against tanks, right? While Spider-Man can't instant KO tanks like he can squishies, this really isn't a problem for him. Most tanks can't punish the Spider-Man from his attacks well enough to shut him completely down, and because Spider-Man's uppercut has such a large radius, he likely will hit both the tank and nearby supports with his swing, allowing him to easily transition to the higher priority targets. But being good is a problem that can be fixed. But as one user put so succinctly, he's so uniquely problematic because character-wise, he's perfect. I feel like I am Spidey swinging across the map and beating up bad guys. And that's really fun and good character design gameplay-wise. However, he's stupidly unfun to fight. He moves at Mach 100, kills your supports with a BS long reach one-shot combo, leaves, and does it all over again all game. Not to mention how frustrating he can be to have on your team, being almost unhealable. Although people being bad at Spidey isn't your character's fault. You can't take away what makes him Spidey, duh. But the way he is right now is seriously unfun. It's not just that Spider-Man is good, it's that he's good and he creates a bad problem. Every game is at its best when everyone feels like they have their place. No one oversteps the boundary of the other. But to a Spider-Man, the world is their oyster, a boundless playground, while small health bars are snapped in half while large ones are stored in the fridge for later. Spider-Man has continued to climb the tier list rankings, and without more ways to counter him, he may go from a beloved favorite to a hated menace of the community. I believe that the best way to deal with Spider-Man is not to nerf him directly, although he likely will catch some nerfs. I believe that the best way to deal with him is to provide better options for the rest of the cast. He is balanced on such a razor's edge, however, because it requires a good player to see the best use out of him. This isn't good enough to warrant where he is right now. I feel like as though Spider-Man will continue to get better and better, and the ways to counter him will get less and less for him. And even characters that are good, such as Namor, may become more of an issue as time has gone on. We're running into a situation where characters need to be banned in order for certain characters to exist, but there aren't enough bans in the game to catch everything that you might need. Of course, you can pivot your team around, but how often are we going to get a different form of Spider-Man? Maybe a character that isn't Spider-Man directly, maybe a character that is so good at busting tanks like somebody else I know that absolutely must be dealt with and must be banned in order for your tanks to be able to play the game. I believe right now, Spider-Man is in a similar position where he absolutely must be dealt with for a good portion of your squishies and your supports to see any value, but there's just simply not enough of them to go around, and there's not enough options to be able to counter him. The counterplay to Spider-Man is just to simply avoid him, and when he has the ability and the mobility to get anywhere he wants, that's nigh impossible. I want to see Spider-Man be amazing, but as it stands right now, he's a menace. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed, and if you want to go a step further, join us on Patreon where you can help me keep making videos for as little as $3 a month. Bless your faces, and deuces.